Hey, it's 2024.
Yeah, it's very progressive.
Of course.
At a shooting school.
Toxic masculinity.
This is the first training you've done that hasn't included DEI, dude. Shut up. This is the first and only. Okay, I think went through everything. The range, like I said, ran super efficient. I don't know what time, it's not even 2, is it?
Just 2:05.
Oh, okay. And we're at the right round count, maybe a little high. Not that that's a problem for me, but yeah, anyway, we got through stuff pretty well. All right, so let's review. As I promised yesterday, you're not really going to be able to fix this stuff in 2 days, right? But you got a good look at all these different pieces of your technique and your shooting. What should you do moving forward?
Rep it.
Rep it. That's a good thing to say. Yeah, we're going to practice more, obviously. So what I like to do, or in my dry fire area, there exists a list of things I'd like to change. So let's shout out some of the bad habits we got. Maybe when you draw the gun, you like to clamp up your firing hand, you don't get your support iron down there, right? Maybe you got to be very conscious about trigger press, or you won't pull the trigger straight. All right. Maybe you've got to be very conscious about what you're doing visually, or you just get pulled right onto the dot. As you add speed and stress, those habits just come out more. When you're training, I think of your training as you're trying to change those habits, whatever they are. So most of your training's dry, obviously. So let's say you want to make a change to your grip. What's a change somebody would want to make to their grip? Anybody?
Stop gripping too hard with the shooting hand.
Yeah, there you go. So I would, if I'd go draw, bring my gun, at speed, beep, gun comes up. Consciously check, do I have what I want for my hand pressure? Yes or no? Okay. Beep, conscious check. If I do this for 3 minutes, is this a long time?
Yes.
I agree. 3 minutes is a long fucking time to do that. If you're engaged and you're doing it aggressively with an aggressive par time, 3 minutes is a long time to do that. But I should focus on just that one thing. Just the one thing, nothing else. All right? If I get to where I was okay, I think I'm doing what I want with this technique. Now I just make it harder. So now I'm going to do dry fire build drill. So beep, gun comes up, then 6 aggressive presses of the trigger, finger flying off the face of the trigger on your shooting, on your 2011, finger flies off the face, press back into dead trigger, press, 6 rounds, real aggressive, press. I don't want to see my dot blipping left, right? That'd be an indication of my dominant hands pushing against it, right?
Yep.
So I'm making the skill harder to perform, making it more complex, making it harder, but I'm still working on the same concept, right? So let's say I do 3 minutes of build drills like that, right? Is that a long time now? Is it 6 minutes of this training?
Yeah.
All right, and then maybe do some other skill that you want to do, let's say reload, come back up on is that grip what I want? Yes, no, right? Reload, come back up on the grip? Yes, no. You're working on the concept, you're working on the habit. The drills just give you the condition. They set the context for what you're doing. You get what I'm saying? If I want to work high speed shooting and work on target transitions, well, put the targets close and put a lot of transitions in there. It's going to be fast and I'm going to work on target transitions and it's going to stress my shooting in that way. If I want to work on, hey, target focus, pull the trigger straight, put the target at 25 yards and that will set the condition for what I'm doing, for what matters. Does that make sense to everybody? If you view training like this, you can change your habits fairly quickly. 2, 3 weeks, 4, 5 weeks sometimes, depending on how ingrained it is or how much you've done this to yourself. You can change habits pretty quickly. It doesn't matter so much if it's live fire or dry fire. You can train and change the habits. If you are restricted on live ammo or range access, as most people are, I would view the live shooting as the test of your training. So your real training is what? It's dry fire. That's your training. When you go do live fire, you shoot a couple hundred rounds on some stuff like this, and you do it in a very observational state. I'm just paying attention to what happens. Did I fix this stuff or not? Right? Or what's going on? I assess myself, and then that just feeds me. Go back to dry fire, refine your training, zero in on the stuff that you want to change. That's what it is. That's what it looks like. It's a simple process. It just requires you to get involved a little bit, regularly, pretty much every day for a while. Does that make sense to everybody? All right. You have any questions about what you should do or what you should do moving forward?
What are some strategies for tension for you personally?
Strategies for tension? All right. So That's a good one. So like I said, for me, it's a tension game. Like go faster, 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 the tension starts to come in. So I'm always going to be pushing speed to bring the tension out of myself and try to work through it. And then there's other stuff you can pay attention to as well. One cue that helps a lot of people is pay attention to your face. So if there's tension in your body, you see it on someone's face, you see it on your face pretty quickly. So getting a camera in front of you during your trainings, you can see what's happening on your face. That's a very good indicator of any excess tension in your body. That makes sense? That's a winner, I think. All right, well.
I have one quick question.
Hit me.
Those reduced size dry fire targets.
Yes.
What are their ratios?
Typically they're 1/3, 1/2, or 1/6 scale.
Okay.
And then the other thing about the setup of your dry fire targets, typically what people do is they control the difficulty. They put stuff on a wall and they just make it smaller if they want to make it harder. So that's a lot different than having the targets actually at a different distance, at a different focal depth where your eyes have to work. So one thing you should have in your dry training is like multiple depths of targets, if at all possible. Like if I have a wall here and a hallway here, some on this wall, some down the hall, and now I actually have a focal depth change. I mean, it's probably the biggest problem in most people's dry fire setups that it's all on one wall. And there's no focal depth shifts. It actually is a muscle in your eye that you have to exercise. So if you're not doing that at home, when you come out here, it feels really different.
Okay.
Makes sense? All right. Well, let's clean up the range. We're going to police up the trash. We'll put the stuff back wherever Lauren wants it, and we're going to get all the brass up.
Yep, and if you could, I have 2 paster guns and 2 staplers. That little box right there under that tent, you can just put it there, and then all the extra pasters, just put the rolls in that box, please. That way I know I got everything back. And other than that, thank you all so much for coming.
Yes.
Ben is here again in September, but that one sold out. But he's here with
Joel.
in October.
Ready to pick some brass, little lady?